To this now, the ANC Gauteng Provincial Task Team is set to meet in Fourways, meeting in Fourways for a two-day lekgotla. This would be to discuss local government coalition agreements as well as many other issues on the agenda. SABC News reporter Natasha Phiri is watching developments for us and joins us for an update. So Natasha, I'm sure the conversations continue.
Well, definitely, Mkolisi, the conversations do continue. But remember, the last hour I had promised you that we would be getting a reaction in regards to the e-hailing driver who unfortunately was brutally killed earlier on this week from the MMC of Transport in Pretoria in Tshwane, Tlangi Mogale, who also actually doubles up as the ANC's deputy regional chair. So let's just speak to her and get that reaction. Tlangi, thank you so much for your time. I think first and foremost, the e-hailing driver, the videos that we've been seeing on social media is just absolutely horrendous. Two suspects, or a number of suspects, have been arrested. Your reaction?
No, thank you so much, Natasha. Indeed, it's been quite a disheartening sight for us. The issues of crime in general in the country and of course in our municipalities is quite saddening. But we are quite happy with the progress that has been registered in terms of the two perpetrators that have been arrested so far. There's a third one. We're told that I think they are also on to the police are about to arrest, and that they will be appearing in court, I think on Monday or Tuesday in Atteridgeville. So we are quite happy with the progress, although the continued crime and attacks on e-hailing operators, it's totally unacceptable.
Let's just also focus on other issues. I mean, as the ANC in Tshwane, we've been seeing residents from Soshanguve protesting, over water. How far are you in dealing with the issue in Tshwane, and perhaps the reaction from the ANC as well?
Yeah, firstly, I think we need to profusely apologize to our residents in Tshwane and of course across the province for what we have been, experiencing with the water cuts and outages. But I'm happy as well that from yesterday up until this morning we got an update from our teams that have been on site. There's been a slight improvement. Some of our reservoirs have already started pumping water, even though it's not as much, but at least we also continue to appeal to our residents to use water sparingly because as we try and recover fully.
Let's look at the ANC's campaign in the city of Tshwane. I know that you want to win the city of Tshwane outrightly, but of course there are a lot of issues. We've just spoken about water, service delivery issues. What is your plan of action in that municipality?
Look, we're fresh from our conference, as you might know, and one of the intensive discussions we had and honest reflections we did in our commissions was to how do we live up to the themes that we always come up with. I mean, we're speaking about this year being a year of decisive action to fix local government, but in practicality, how do we actually implement that? And the discussions that came out, there was how do we go back to basics? How do we go back to the communities? That is why, in as much as we're in a coalition setup, the ANC has got a different school of thought in terms of how we resolve the problems of our people. We go to the ground, we go into the communities to find out, where have we slacked in terms of the implementations, the promises that we've made. Unfortunately for us in Tshwane, it's just been a year that we've managed to get back into power. But if you can check in terms of the priorities that we have set out for ourselves, whether it's stabilizing the finances of the municipalities, whether it's bringing back the infrastructure of the city, to a much more resilient and a conducive one. I think we are slowly getting there. Whether it's the issues around, like you're saying, essential services, water and electricity, these are basic, services that we need to prioritize. So it's really about putting and having the political will, because we've realized that some of these services don't get to our people because of things that we've been unable to deal with as the leadership, whether it's political leadership or whether it's the administrative leadership. Certain things, not because they're not doable, Natasha. It's the political will. It's the fact that we implement our mitigations plans that, from the AG's reports, we're able to dissect from, to say this is what the AG is proposing, because the AG is not, on a witch hunt to fight the administration. In fact, if anything, we have adopted or assumed an attitude to collaborate with them. That's why if you check even our AG's findings, still a qualification, but with some slight improvements, because we've been able to implement some of the what I can call counsel, or mitigating factors that we set up for ourselves. And we also set up some committees to look into how do we fix some of whether it's expenditure, whether it's poor performance by our own officials. So it's a number of different factors that come into place. But at the end of the day, it's the political will and going back to basics and say, let's provide our people with the services.
There's also a press briefing I think you're going to have later on this week about exposing corrupt officials in the municipality. Can you just please give us a snippet as to who those people are, or just hint to us? And then in terms of your mayoral candidacy, I mean, who is the city looking at to saying, listen, we are pushing this person forward? I know you're up against the likes of Nasi Pimoya. I'm not so sure if from the DA, Celia's Brink is going to be pushed forward, but just tell us, please.
So just on the last one, the ANC is not on a popularity contest. We've refused to form part of such a, of playing into such galleries. So we've got proper processes that we've set up. It's a process that is going to be led from region, province, up until national. And of course, our approach is that anything that has got to do with metros, the National Executive Committee is seized with that responsibility. And I think amongst the comrades that are in the city, the ANC will then be able to say, this is the problems, these are the problems that the people of Tshwane are faced with, and we believe this is the suitable candidate.
Including yourself as a woman?
Including anyone who's eligible to lead in the ANC and has got the capacity to do that. But at the center of that decision should be, the will to serve, and understanding that the ANC does not have the luxury of time to be playing around. We need to, honestly reflect on the problems that some, it's an indictment on ourselves, because we're not a perfect organization. So, but what I love is that we have refused to, in order for us to be seen as a government or an organization that cares for the people, we fall into the trap of playing popularity politics. On the first question that you've asked, I think the regional secretariat will be able to deal with that issue, because they assist with being the chief spokespersons on any matter that is related to the ANC in the region. But what I can tell you is that we are also government currently in the ANC, and where we feel that we need to take a position on certain issues, we need to do that. I mean, sometimes I feel that this is just unnecessarily sensationalized, this media brief. It's just a media brief, honestly, to reflect on a number of things. I'm sure we've just had an AG's report now. The ANC, as a leader of society, must be able to express itself on those kind of discussions and what actually led us to there. So sometimes when a headline like that one comes, people are already looking for the drama, because I think we're a highly politicized society. So including the media, they're always looking for sound bites. So I don't think there's much to it, except that the ANC must express itself on a number of issues, and this is part of the work that we will be doing.
Mogale, thank you so much for your time. Of course, that was the ANC's Deputy Regional Chair in Tshwane. She also is the MMC of Roads and Transport in the same city. Of course, reflecting there on the news that we've seen over the weekend, those suspects being arrested in connection with the murder of the e-hailing driver, talking about issues of water in the city, service delivery issues, and of course the ANC's mayoral candidacy in the city of Tshwane. With that said, it's back to you in studio.
Right, that's our Natasha Phiri on the ANC's Gauteng Provincial Task Team lekgotla in Fourways for us this hour. Thanks so much for that update, Natasha.